All right, welcome everybody. Looks like we're right on time. Let me go ahead and get the webcam on. You can see that I'm a real person here, and we're ready to get started, get the show on the road. Just make a few adjustments, and looks like people are commenting, saying hello, and so on and so forth. Yes, I see you, and I'm sure you can all hear me because we've tested all that good stuff. So with that said, let's go ahead and move ahead here. We're going to talk about automated options trading using algorithms for automated futures trading as well. So we're not stock pickers. We think we have a better idea. We can use technology and do the heavy lifting for you. And you can even do this within an IRA. So this webinar is recorded. You'll receive I believe, an email with a link to that recording. And remember, we're speculating and we're accepting risk as we speculate. We're wanting to profit as prices move up, down, and sideways, but that takes risk to profit. So do take a moment and look at the risk disclosure. Remember that only risk capital should be used when trading. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. So our goal today, we're going to look at technology experts are using, show you something I think you've never seen. Diversify even in global markets using technology in all market conditions. We're going to look at algo-driven systems trading and then also algorithmic generated option trades. So these are pre-built option trades and then automated risk and profit targets and even trade alerts. So this is our goal here. We don't want to be like this guy here struggling with his orders and what to do and what trade to make. We want to be like this robot here. So stick around, we're going to use our time wisely. We're going to go through a couple demonstrations and it is live. And we're going to have a special offer for you worth over $32,000. We'll show you how to jump on board for free, everyone's favorite word. So here's our agenda. You know what's coming, a little bit about us, 3 trading secrets. We'll look at algo trading. We'll have a live demo of these trading robots. We'll even look at options trading with algos. People absolutely love these demonstrations, so we're going to spend some time in that and then show you how to get started with a special offer and then some FAQs at the end. I usually answer everyone's question because we get kind of the same questions all the time, but of course, feel free to ask a question. We'll get to that at the end, and also we'll have some opportunity. It's probably going to take a bit of time to get through all this, but stick around. Hopefully, you'll be entertained. And with that said, remember what we're doing is available through self-directed IRAs. Article here from Forbes, combat market volatility, investing with alternative assets. So that's what we do. We are in the alternative space. So a little bit about us. Here's what the market's doing on the S&P 500 mini, the E-mini S&P 500. That's the ES, that's the symbol if you're not familiar with it. Simply moves in parallel with the S&P 500 composite. How about this the other day? White House trade advisor Pete Navarro, he mentioned something about the trade deal being basically off the table. Look at this. S&P futures dropped like a rock. And then what happened? They came charging right back after he walked back those comments, and the market soared right back. So you can say the markets are jumpy, very volatile. They're going to move on just any little thing. We've got headlines here with COVID surging, record 45,000 cases of infections, global total 10 million. Of course, there's a lot under the headlines too, so maybe it's not as dire as it looks, but we won't get into all that. But nonetheless, those are making headlines. Q1 GDP revision down -5%. That's the final revision. Corporate profits down 12.3%. You can see here way deep in that negative red territory. Data from today, jobless claims. There's been over 50 million claims in the last 3 months. And normally it's about 220,000 a week. So keep that in perspective. Even though the trend is down, these numbers are enormous. We've never seen anything like this. And look at that spike in the unemployment claims. It's quite literally off the charts. Industrial production, just as bad. I'm not even sure you can see this because it's so negative, this spike down here. just crazy what's happening in the economy. 30% failed to make housing payments in June. Expect that number probably to stay just as bad. I don't think it's going to get better in the next month or so. But here this morning, if you didn't notice, FDIC announced an easing of what they call the Volcker Rule, allowing essentially banks to use more capital for investing. And the banks rallied, stocks rallied sharply, and came off of those lows. But here's looking at the bigger picture. Here's the S&P 500, this blue line here, moving up, 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 as you see. Meanwhile, corporate profits are just collapsing. So there's a bit of a disconnect. I'm sure we can all see that. The Congressional Budget Office thinks we're going to take a decade to recover. Valuations, Warren Buffett indicator, so to speak, the ratio of the total market capitalization to the US GDP, we're up near record highs again. But look at this, liquidity from the Fed and the stock market. You can see the stock market moving up, 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 and then of course in March it collapsed, but meanwhile the Federal Reserve is doing all they can to inject liquidity, essentially print money. And as they print more and more money, that's lifting asset valuations. They call it the wealth effect. So really, if you want to know what's going on in the stock market, then you need to know what the Federal Reserve is doing. You can see here the balance sheet of the Federal Reserve. As stock prices move higher, you can see it almost is in parallel with liquidity from the Federal Reserve. Here's a little chart on the NASDAQ. Thought it was interesting. We're not going to get too technical. I'm going to move ahead, but you can see the NASDAQ was at a high back here, and you have this RSI indicator. Don't worry about if you don't know what it means, but typically the RSI will move in lockstep with whatever the market's doing. But you can see as the market made another high here, the RSI did not follow. It made a lower high, and then you had a subsequent sell-off. You kind of have the same situation here in the NASDAQ now with the market's NASDAQ making a new high, but the indicator is not following. So something to keep an eye on, especially considering, this is interesting, the total market valuation for the entire stock market, 20% of that, almost 20%, is just these 5 stocks: Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, and Facebook. So that's very, very interesting stuff. But we're not stock traders. We're just kind of looking at some context. So remember, markets are always correct. We aren't. It can be expensive trying to convince the markets that you are correct. So we don't want to fight the tape. We want to trade the environment in terms of what the market offers us. A little bit about who we are. We're AltaVest since 1997. We're a brokerage firm, and all of our staff are licensed with at least 25 years of experience. We're regulated, of course, and we're in California and Illinois. And we've traded millions and millions of futures and options contracts over the years. So that's what we're going to talk about. And with that experience, we think we put a lot of that into what we're going to show you. And we found many ways that just don't work. That's the way we like to look at it, like Thomas Edison. So we don't want you to try to figure everything out by yourself when it comes to trading. You can use us and all the trading solutions that we've created with decades of experience. A little bit about myself. I'm Erik Gebhard. Been doing this about 29 years. Since 1991, I've been licensed. I have my BS in Business Administration from the University of Southern California. I got started way back, looks like, almost seems like the dark ages, but there's my textbook, Studying Futures and Options. Those are all my notes. So I did enjoy that a lot. Obviously, I'm still doing it. We were studying crude oil and gold at the time. Crude oil prices had doubled in value because of Saddam Hussein invading Kuwait. In any case, I became interested in securities, and I was in that business for a while with my securities licenses. But I enjoyed futures and options, and that's where I got back into the game and have been since. So with that said, we're going to look at the 3 trading secrets we have determined over the years really make a big difference. And we're going to share a little more space on the screen. So I'll shut off the webcam for now that I've introduced myself. So day trading, don't be overly optimistic. It's very, very difficult to do. If you're doing it successfully, more power to you. But keep in mind, It's very difficult. You've heard about some of these guys day trading since COVID started, leading an army of day traders. Everyone's using all these apps and trading fractional shares. But it's a very difficult thing to do consistently over a period of time. Of course, we've had, I think the market's been the biggest, strongest bull market in history off of those lows in March. So when the market's moving higher just about all the time, it's easy to be, pat yourself on the back. But look at this. Here's a guy who used to train traders. He said that 3.5% to 4% had a longer term success rate over several years. So keep that in mind. We're not day trading. If you're doing it, that's fine. But I think we have a different and a better approach, an alternative. And we're going to show you that in a second. And it requires precision. You have to be perfect with picking the correct market, direction, strategy, your entry, timing, your price. You have to manage your risk and reward. There's a lot to manage. Unless you're a monkey, you look at these simulated results where these monkeys, there's your fund manager there, they outperform the indexes by an average of 1.7% per year. So it's kind of funny to look at stuff like that. So over a long period of time, not that easy to day trade or to pick stocks. So, and why is that? Our emotions get on our way. Secret number 3, Maxwell Smart's a little perplexed. Fear, hope, greed, anxiety, frustration, boredom. You all feel that when you're trading. I do as well. We all do. We're all human. And that's the problem. We're human. We have bad wiring. We make poor investment decisions. We have a built-in bias to essentially sell the lows and buy the highs, according to Mark Lindheim. So, we've all been there. Market starts dropping and do I get out? Do I get back in? Do I add more? Do I move my stop? Whatever it is, or if you're short, the opposite. So this can really play tricks with us, and that the reason why is our brain is killing our returns. Look at this here from just a month ago after the COVID-19 pandemic here put sports and everything on hold. Frustrated sports punters turning to the U.S. stock market. This one guy here, he says he's a better investor than Warren Buffett. He says day trading is the easiest game there is. That's a fact, he says. So all this day trading stuff is attracting lots of new players. Look at this here. Huge surge in new accounts. It's come down a little bit, but I think it's actually been going up again. And look at this, emotions here. We talk about being our enemy. Here's a guy that says, he sent me TikTok, okay? And he says, look at this thing. And what happens here is he said he did research into Nikola, the fuel cell technology. He liked the company, so he bought some shares. He didn't feel like it was a high stakes decision. I thought, whatever. So I bought a few shares around 21, and then yesterday it was 90. So he thinks it's a better financial source than anything else. So there you go. People are trading based off of TikTok. And here, another guy fired up a dormant E-Trade account. He had several $1,000s. He began to buy stocks. I'm not there for the long run. I just want to throw a few $1,000 at something to see if I can make a few hundred. So that's a lot of the mentality now in the market from the retail side. We don't want to mirror that or emulate that. We're going to show you something totally different. And there are 3 common biases when making investment decisions. There's confirmation, anchoring, and recency. We won't go into all that, but just be aware we've all fallen into that trap where we think, for example, the market might move a particular direction forever and ever just because that's what it's been doing. So remember, our emotions here are the enemy. And there's an article here. It said the U.S. stock market now at risk of another decline. I like this cartoon. It says, my stocks are doing great. What else do I need to know? And of course, he's got blinders on and all the headlines here are horrific. So that's kind of the recency bias we talked about. But don't let this be you. I still think the market was wrong. That should not be your quote on your tombstone. So here we go. Part 3, algos dominating the market. Robot analysts outwit humans on their investment picks. That's a study from article there from Bloomberg. Algo trading dominated 80% of the stock market. Machines causing sharp drops and rallies, according to Seeking Alpha. So we know that. That's revolutionary trading. Thought this was a great little cartoon. That's where we are now. And this is what it used to be like. I thought that was kind of fun. They took this crude video years ago on the trading floor. So that's not at all what it looks like on the trading floor these days. This is what it looks like. That's your competition. this is who you're trading with now. No emotion, they run automatically, built-in risk controls, just like the Terminator. Some of you might recall there's a quote in the movie here. It says, the Terminator's out there, it can't be bargained with, it can't be reasoned with, it doesn't feel pity or remorse or fear. It will not stop ever until your account is dead. And of course, the green there are a little bit of my embellishment, but you get the picture. This was kind of funny too. The boss wants me to create a computer algo that can convert hindsight into foresight. So if only we could do something like that. But let's see how we can use algos to compete. Here's what we're going to talk about. Automated systems trading. It's user friendly. You can filter for any risk and reward parameter. Do it in minutes a day. You can automate your risk and profit controls. All you do is set it to on and off. That's it, and walk away. Markets moving up and down, it doesn't matter. Markets across the globe, multiple sectors. So here we go. There's our test pilot. We've done all that testing for you. How about this fresh approach to trading? And we're going to show you here how to take action. We think you're going to like it. So you're going to want to get on board. We've created a special value for you, a package and a special offer for you at the end. But before we do that, we need to see a demo. Time to meet your new friends, your new robot friends at AB Systems. And with that said, let me go ahead and switch screens. And we're going to show you these algo trading systems, and we're going to jump into the options demo as well. So we're going to cover both here. This is the platform called AB Systems, and we're going to run through the home page here. And let me see if, that's probably good. Make sure you can see everything. So we're going to go through this step at a time. And just so you know what you're looking at, there are 1,759 automated trading systems on this platform. So think of it like a large menu of different systems that you can sort through and filter. And if you like one, you order it, so to speak, and you turn it on and you walk away, and the algo does all the trading for you. So we're going to look at this. Step one, how to explore and choose a system. How would you subscribe to a system? Step three, how to activate it. And then how do you monitor performance? So it's that easy. But you can see right away here, you have all these systems to choose from. How would you even know where to start? First of all, you can customize the table. So all these different headings here, you can customize, and you can have that table display anything you want. Maybe you're not interested in this particular rating, or maybe you're not interested in the profit factor, and perhaps, let's say, you'd rather have this here. It's been trading live since a particular date. Then you just click OK. So now the table reflects all your choices. So that's how you sort the table and customize that table. But that's just a side note. Let me go ahead and just go back to default. Now, really, the key here is, how do you explore and choose the systems? Okay, well, the first thing you want to know is, let's just walk through this. Each system here has a name. You can see the market that it's trading and all these different symbols. We can tell you how that works. Here's the ranking. There's two types of system, intraday or swing system. Intraday is always out by the close. And the start date of any system, your total profit and loss, percentage of winning sessions. Now you can also use ascending or descending sort. So you just click on a heading, so you can see this particular system here has a 90% winning session ratio, and the worst is a 30% total profit and loss. This system here is over $1 million P&L, and this one here is a loss of 56,000. So you can sort any way you want, but really the best way to do it here is to filter. There are quick filters available. So for example, these here, and let's say you want to look at systems that lost no more than $10,000 and they have a rating that's 2 or greater. So you click that, and now you have 279 systems left in the universe to choose from. And now you want to look at systems that have clients trading them and the required capital is less than 5,000. And now you have 40 to choose from. And then if you want to get even more granular, you could clear that and you could do advanced filters, and you can see all the different filters here. So you could use any of these or a combination of any of these to filter and find systems that only really suit you and your your goals. And let's, for example, take a look at, let's say you want to only look at intraday systems. So you add that as a filter. So now there's 20 remaining. Remember, we have all these filters up here. These are the ones we've chosen. We have 3 filters so far. And maybe you want to look at one other filter like, let's say here, the percentage of time with an open position. So maybe you're looking at something that trades, maybe you want something that trades a lot. So let's just say 60 to 100% of the time it has a position that's open. And now we filtered out. Let's change that again or edit that. Let's say 30 to 100%. Just kind of winging it here. Well, that would not be a good filter. So let's just go ahead and forget that one. But you get the idea. You can just use this to filter for anything you want. And if you end up with 0, that means you just have to expand your filters again. How about this one? A Sharpe Ratio. It's just a risk adjusted return metric. Let's see if we get anything there. It's still 20, but you get the idea, and then you could clear them all and start over. But that's how you filter, and it's a lot of fun to do. And then once you choose a system, so let me go ahead and show you how this works. Let's say you were to find a system here. Here's a euro currency. Let's take a look at that and drill down. Okay, so you can see the performance on this particular system. And let me start here. In fact, this one doesn't have as much of a live track record as I'd like to show you. So let me show you something else here, if you don't mind. How about this one here? I've looked at this one in the past. We have actually clients doing this. So the black motorcycle. Okay, so this is what it looks like when you drill down into any particular system. You can see all of the data for that system along the top. And I'll point out there's suggested capital and required capital. All of the performance is based on the suggested capital amount. And some of the systems have suggested capital of as little as just a few $1,000s, and some have 6-figure. It just depends on really the volatility of the system. The ones that have a greater amount of suggested capital are trying to hold on to much larger moves and much larger trends. So you can see here the name of the developer. This is on the E-mini S&P 500. It's an intraday system. It's $150 a month, and that comes directly out of your account. And I'll also point out that all the percentages, all the numbers are net of all cost and based off of that suggested capital. So keep that in mind. So you can see this table here. You can see your total profit and loss. If you want to know what any of these little terms mean, you can just click on that and get a description. And I won't go through all this, but there's a lot here you can look at. Look at your worst drawdown, look at your worst session, your best session, percentage of winning systems or winning sessions, I mean. Now this here is interesting too. This is a table where you can go back in time. You can see if it's white, that means the system has been on the platform and it's been back tested back to 2009. And once again, these are all results that are net of commissions and cost. And now if it turns this kind of tan or yellow color, that means it's been tracked on the system starting at this point, but there's no live money in it. So when it's green, that means there's live money. So this has had live money since March of 2018. And then you can see the total result for that year and the percentage. And then 2019, throughout the middle of the year, did not have clients in it, but then it did towards the end of the year. But I want to show you here in 2020. Look at what happened in March, in April, and May. So the stock market had dropped 30-something% in March, but here you have an intraday. It's an intraday trading system on the E-mini S&P 500. It's in and out on the same day. And look at that, almost $6,000 gain in that 1 month. And that's why we like these systems, because they are non-correlated. They don't really care about what direction the market's going. And you can see all of the granularity. There's nothing hidden. There's nothing hiding from you. You get to see day by day the results here as this system was being traded. It didn't have a a trade every single day, but you can see when it does, and you can see the accumulated profit and loss day by day. And then towards the end of the month there, almost 6,000 in profit. Then you can see the chart for that month, the performance graph there. So this is typical. This is how it works for any system. If you want to see all the results and look back at the history and look back at the performance. Now, if you want to get even more granular, you can look at the trade log. So you can see all of the trading that's occurred day by day, all the stop orders, buy orders, limit orders, profit orders, whatever happened, you get to see it, or you can see it by session, so day by day. So you can see some days it traded maybe twice, some days 4 times. Here's a more active day on the 15th, 10 times. And then yesterday was very active as well, traded 12 times. But everything is visible and very granular in terms of all the data available. You can even download all that to Excel if you wanted to analyze it further. Now, if you wanted to activate a particular system, whether it's this one or anyone else, you can see there is a padlock, for example, next to these systems. And you would simply click on that. And in fact, then you would click on the buy the license. And you subscribe. You read the disclaimer here, of course. Click accept. And I don't know in this demo account if there's enough. Okay, there we go. So then you would need to activate it. So once you subscribe, then you would activate the system. So this is a S&P mid-cap system called the Swing 6. And then ask you here if you want to immediately activate. And you would just click the disclaimer here and then activate. And once you activate it, I won't activate it though at the moment because I don't know if there's enough account balance in my demo account here. So anyway, but let me show you what happens once you activate an account. You go to My Systems. So there's just a few systems I've chosen here. This is live trading right now in this demo account. You can see at the moment there's about a $180 profit in this swing system here on the E-mini S&P 500. And there's a copper system that has no position, but you can see here this -1 means this swing system is short one contract. You can see that it the closest order here is at 30.82 3/4. That's a buy stop. And the last trade was a sell at 30.93. The current price is 30.45 and gives you here the accumulated profit or loss since you've activated it. So this one's doing very well since we went live. Now here's a copper system and it's not active right now. It's accumulated some profits. And then here's a silver system that's making some money today. It bought silver, but overall this one is losing money. And then you can see here today's P&L, $400 and some profitable, and accumulated P&L about $6,800 total with these systems. So this is where you would go to look and track the performance of any system that you have activated. And I want to point out this one since we're here. We have a lot of clients trading this. This is the Swing AG E-mini S&P ES, and it's a swing trading system, as per the name. $110 a month comes right out of your account. You can see here as we're running one unit, one instance times 1, and the suggested capital is $25,000 for this. I want to point out something here for 2020. You can see the performance. Look at March, $82,000 in profits on this system. when the stock market fell. So everyone's losing money that is, basically buying stocks. But here's something that actually performed exceedingly well. You can see here the graph of just how it did it. So you can see on March 2, started off with a losing trade. The license cost was debited directly from the account, so it's negative. Then it has a winner, so now it's positive. And then every time there's a trade, you can see here, and you can follow along as the accumulated profit and loss here starts to grow. And that's what it looks like on the equity curve for just the month of March. So we love the idea of having this type of exposure in an account, because when things aren't going well in the general financial markets, these systems don't care. They're going to be short or they're going to be long. They're going to be in, they're going to be out. They're just trying to sink their teeth into a move and profit in any which way they can. And you can see here, real live money, April, May, and even look at June here, doing great. These are some big numbers, 460% return year to date. So can't tell you that, have to remind you, of course, that past performance does not guarantee future results. But nonetheless, the point is, these systems are designed, such as this one here, to capture moves in any direction. You're not having to rely on picking stocks or picking a direction. The computer and the algo does it for you. Now, if you wanted to stop this system at any time, you just click on this little button, and then you would click Stop Strategy. And you could either stop it immediately or just decide not to take the next new signal. And then you would click Deactivate. And that's all you have to do. So let's look at the top 10. This is kind of fun. So here we have the current session today. This is all live trading. And you can see there are the top 10 systems that are being traded right now for today. And then here are the previous session from yesterday, the top 10. And then last month. And then of course last year. You can look at some of these systems here. Just had tremendous results last year. And if you want to, of course, more granularity on any of them, let's look at this one here, the #1 system for last year. So there it was. And so far this year, it is, look at that March. Big numbers. In fact, we're having a big year in this system right now. And then once again, if you wanted to activate it, you would just click that, buy the license, and follow along, and that's all you need to do. And then once you activate it, you just walk away, and the computer does all the trading for you. And now let's jump one more time back to the home page. I'll show you one other thing. You can also use this search box here. And if you're looking at, let's say, crude oil, there you go. So here's all the crude systems. The symbol here is CL. I think there's a couple pages of them. Or any system, let's say gold. So there are the gold systems. So you can filter any which way you want, or you can filter with all the various quick filters or advanced filters. And of course, that's something we can help you with too, and I'll explain how that works in just a second. So there is AV Systems, an incredibly powerful tool, a great complement to have with your investing and your trading. You can walk away from these, you can choose and activate any system, find systems that meet your risk tolerance and the type of strategy you're looking for. Some people like intraday because they don't have any risk over the weekend, and some people like the swing systems because they go for sometimes the bigger moves. So there's no right answer, it's just what is appropriate for you. And now with that said, let me jump ahead here. Let me show you something else. We're going to jump into options. Hopefully you don't feel like this kid here. And I'm just looking at a couple questions here. Yes, fire hose training, that's right. Thank you for that. And we'll get to some of these comments and questions towards the end. Yeah, that's great. Please keep asking questions. I see a bunch of them stacking up, but let me go ahead and move forward and I'll get to those questions here towards the end. But here, you're thinking this is great, but I've never traded futures, or it just seems like I wouldn't even know what market is best. Well, you don't need to know about any particular market. The algo does. So you don't need to know about hogs or the euro or the pound or corn or gold or the E-mini S&P or the NASDAQ. Remember, the algo does all the work for you, trading in any market condition up or down. So that's the whole point of this. So remember, metals, yes. Energies, yes. Stock market index, yes. Currencies, yes. Remember, futures trading is where you want to be. There's record volumes in futures trading. The activity in futures markets completely dwarfs what's happening in other markets. And let me show you what I'm talking about. Remember, these are global, they're liquid, they're transparent, they have leverage, diversification opportunity, easily go short or long, none of that nonsense with margin and borrowing from your broker. Cost effective, you can filter for risk, profit, capital, anything you want. You saw how those filters work, how powerful they are, and it can be fun. This little chap here thinks it's a lot of fun, and we agree. And let's take a look, and we're going to talk about algos trading with options. So here, our automated options trading secret. It's our own proprietary technology. Up, down, or sideways markets. We can remove the guesswork, and we're going to talk about the advantages of futures options. So we can speculate with these option strategies on downward moves, upward moves, choppy moves, you name it, up, down, or sideways. Or you can use to hedge traditional investments in your portfolio. So we're going to show you how this all works. So with that said, we like tracking the stock indices like such as the ES. And why? Because it's convenient, right? You only follow one or two markets, not 2,000. And it's less volatile. An index, by definition, is less volatile than an individual stock. You know how stocks can be pretty individual. Here's Virgin Galactic down almost 80% since its high in February, kind of in a consolidation pattern here, and also non-correlated. So the index and stock may be in completely different directions. This was interesting here. So the stock market starts to drop like a rock because of COVID. But meanwhile, Blue Apron, the meal company, they deliver meals, I think, just shot up through the roof. Talk about inverse correlation. Now they've kind of both moderated, but you get the point. So how do insurance companies make money? Well, you know, you pay them premiums and they are paid to assume and manage risk, manage time, they insure themselves, they're always hedged, at least the good ones are, and they're consistent and they look at probabilities, long-term favorable odds. They're just looking at math, just like this, statistics, expected returns. Casinos do the same thing. You spin that roulette wheel 38 times, you do that enough times, and the odds are you're going to lose 200 bucks or $5.26 per spin, and that's the house edge. So the house wants you to sit there for as long as you can and spin that wheel, because over time, that's the edge. And they don't care if they pay you out at times. You do it long enough, and they're going to win. It's called the law of large numbers. So the more trials that you run, it's going to be closer to the expected value as more trials are performed. So we all understand how that works, like flipping a coin. So high probability with base hits, looking at a baseball analogy. What are high probability option strategies? Well, we like to collect premiums. That's what we call a base hit by going short options. We are consistent and patient with our approach. We need to manage risk because we will have losing trades, and manage reward. You can't get greedy because the winners can slip through your fingers, but you need the proper tools to make all this happen. So remember, lots of base hits. So there are short option strategies that are non-directional, bullish, and bearish. And we can do all the above with our technology, and I'll show you that in just a moment. So we're going to look at these higher probability outcomes. Insured positions, predetermined risk and reward, and they may be non-directional with a credit spread. So here's an example. There's a large, what they call margin of error, or the highly technical term wiggle room. So if you don't know what this chart really means, it doesn't matter right now. I'll explain it. But we like to trade these spreads on the ES, or the E-mini S&P 500, as well as a couple other E-mini markets. But first, let's look at the Greeks. We're going to look at two of them. If you know this, we're going to go quickly. If you don't know it, it's super easy. And you could get lost in the weeds on all this Greek stuff with all this other type of training, but we don't need any of that for what we're doing. Delta, what is it? Here's an example. The S&P is at 2,500. There's a 2150 put at 15 points, delta's 0.25. Let's say that market drops from 2,500, it goes down 10 points to 2,490. What happens to the value of this put? It was 15. Well, it increases 25% in value, and it's now 18 3/4, and that's because of the 0.25 delta. Just that simple. But here's really the key. It's also the approximate probability of expiring in the money. So at 0.25, there's a 25% chance of expiring in the money and a 75% chance of expiring worthless. And delta is always moving with price and time. And it's not the probability of a winning trade. So remember, keep that one straight. Sometimes people get confused about that. There's also theta. So we talk about theta, that's the other Greek, that's all we're going to talk about. Remember, every option has a limited lifespan. So theta is a negative number and equals 1 day of time decay. For example, if an option's at 10 points, theta is negative 0.05. That means the next day, the premium would slip to 9.95, and the next day after that, 9.90, and so on. So that's theta decay. That's what it looks like as you approach time zero. The percent of the premium remaining drops and drops and drops. So remember, you're a credit spread trader, you want to be boring. We're not going for grand slams. The whole goal is to sell these out of the money spreads and watch time pass. So you want to be like this chap here. Isn't that Milton, I think, from Office Space? You want to be boring. But it's never that easy. You have to manage risk. And with that said, let's look at an example of a simple credit spread, selling a call spread. Here's the market in this case, sitting right here, the E-mini S&P 500. You sell a 35.30 call for 4.5 points. That's the blue line. And you receive that money. So you receive or collect 4.5 points by selling the option. Then at the same time, you buy the 35.50 call up here, and you pay 2.25. So the net result is you collected $112.50 by selling that out of the money call spread, including your commissions, of course, too. So that's how that works. And then selling a put spread is just the opposite. You sell the 29.90 put here for 3 points. That's how much money you collect. But you also buy the 29.70. You pay out a point, and your net result, of course, $100 there in point value. Remember, these are not naked options. Everything is hedged or covered. Maximum risk is capped. These are covered option spreads. You don't want to be naked like that cat or that mouse. And remember, there's also no margin calls when you trade covered spreads. That's a great advantage, and that's one of the big reasons why we do this. These are predefined risk strategies. Now here's an iron condor. If you've never heard of it, fine. If you have, we're going to show you a new way to do it. A combination of the two spreads that we just looked at, the bull put and the bear call spread. That's what it looks like, and we're going to show you here in the live demo how this works. You sell an out of the money call spread, sell an out of the money put spread. You do it simultaneously, and you collect premium, and you look for the market to stay in this wide range. Of course, how do you know which options to trade at what price, and how do you know when to get out? And that is what we're going to show you. Now here's a secret strategy we developed, the Dragonfly. These are 6 legs, just like a dragonfly, meaning there are 6 different strike prices. It's just a variation on a condor. So you can see, let me explain it here. You sell 4, in this case, of the 33.30 calls, and at the same time you buy 3 further out of the money calls, and you buy 1 closer to the money call. Now, why would you do this? Well, remember this one here that you buy is 40 points closer to the money than the ones you've sold. So if the market's moving higher, getting closer to the ones that you sold, this one that you bought, that you own, is going to gain value quicker. And it's also going to hold its value and not lose time value as quickly. And the same thing with the puts. You have that same structure on the puts. So you have 6 legs on the spread. Now you're scratching your head because you don't even know where to begin. I get it. How do you know which ones to choose, when to get in, when to get out? That's what we're going to show you. We're going to use some technology for that. So I know what you're thinking. You're thinking what Jackie Chan is thinking. What to start with, how do you sell, what to buy, what's the price, which options to choose essentially, and then how do you manage it? But here's the thing. We have Theta Trader, pre-built credit and debit spreads. Our proprietary algo will create what we call Theta Trades. And these are the same strategies sophisticated traders are using for bull, bear, and flat market conditions. And we use automated risk and profit controls, something called the risk thermal indicator. It's color coded. This is critical, and I'm going to show you how this works because you can automate this and remove the emotions. So once again, we're going to run through this, show you how to jump on board and take action. So let me switch over. Before I do that, let me close this other screen here. Okay, now I'm ready for it. All right, introducing Theta Trader, folks. Looking at the dashboard, this is proprietary technology that all of our staff and our team developed. We spent years and decades of experience putting this together. And if you've never seen it, that's okay. It's a niche product for we're basically elite traders, and we're going to make it available to you. And before we do that, I want to show you how this works. So here's the dashboard. And you notice above the menu here, and this is just a demo account, so some of this you wouldn't have. But nonetheless, let me show you at the very beginning what we're looking at. There are Theta Trades, and we're going to show you how that works in a second. You can see at a glance any open sold positions or any short option spreads here. So you can see them right at a glance. You can see the colors are all green right now. That means good, nothing to do, and I'll explain that. These are open bought positions. You can buy spreads as well, or even just outright options. And then you can see your account info and the demo account here, and then any current quotes. So let's start at the beginning. There are bullish strategies that are already pre-built. There are bearish strategies, and there are non-directional or neutral strategies. And you'll notice the ES, the E-mini S&P 500, and the E-mini NASDAQ 100, and the E-mini Russell 2000. Those are the markets we primarily trade. For the most part, we're trading the ES, and I'll explain why after the demo. But essentially, that's where all the volume is. But let's look at a Condor. That's what we looked at in the presentation. So here, the proprietary algo has pre-built these trades anywhere from 16 to 68 days of time. And all the strikes and everything are already pre-selected. And you can see the days till expiration, the contract, the trade, and I'll get you the details. This is your profit potential at expiration, and then the targeted annualized return, or TAR, for any of these trades. And use this number to compare one trade to another. You can't really realistically expect to say, for example, place this trade, have it be a winner in 16 days, and then place the same trade 16 days, have it win, and repeat that over and over. So with that said, let's look at this August end of month trade, 68 days left. Let's drill down. And here we go. First thing I like to do before I dig into this is look at a chart. It gives me some bearings here as to where we are. Here's the S&P sitting here. You're selling this out of the money call spread and this out of the money put spread. And that's what it looks like. And we're going to get into some details here. Here's the settlement price, 2.6, the net premium you collect, your put risk and your call risk, and the cash required here is $891. Your profit potential is $109. So you have to put up 800 and let's say you put up $900 to make $109. Why would you do that? Why would you risk, 900 to make over 100, just over 100? Remember we talked about delta. So let's look at the put you're selling. The put you're selling here in this case is a 2440 put. It has a delta of 9.74. That means there's over a 90% probability this put is going to expire out of the money. Same with the call, the 3500 call that you're selling. The delta here is 6.67. So you're talking over 93% probability that this put, or I'm sorry, that the call is going to expire out of the money according to the delta. So these are the higher probability outcomes we like to use and like to trade with when we're selling these types of spreads. So you can see the total return, targeted return on cash, just over 12%, and targeted annualized return. And it all pre-formats here or pre-populates to a sell because you're selling the Condor, you're selling the spread, and you're collecting net premium by selling it. Quantity always defaults to 1, but let's just throw in, I don't know, 4 to make it unusual. You could leave that number at 260 or you could change it. You could tell the broker you're willing to take a little bit less if you wanted, adding discretion, but we won't do that. And then you go ahead and you place the order. And there it is, shows up as filled. Now let's show you this. This is really great stuff. There's a trade simulator. You can go back in time and you can test any strategy over any period of time. And I've loaded some of these already just to save us some time. So here is a Condor from August 14 of 2017. What would have happened if you placed this trade? Well, let's go ahead and take a look. And we can use these controls here at the bottom to move one step forward at a time, one day forward, or you can just play it all the way through or jump to the end. But you can see as day by day goes here, the trade's a little bit negative, but everything's green. The risk thermal says do nothing. Let's go ahead and play this through. Market's moving sideways, all is well. Trade is turning green, profitable here. And look at this, it turns blue. That means take profits and get out of the trade. Now here's the real magic. You can automate this. You don't even have to watch it day by day. And I'll show you how to automate it. It just takes a click of the mouse. So you can automate your exit strategy and get out when you get a profit signal, or you can get out when you have basically a stop loss or too much risk. So how great is that? Now, if you were to ignore that profit signal and let your emotions get a hold of you and think that you could make even a little more money, what would happen? Well, so far so good. Oh, now it turns yellow. Little elevated risk, and now the trade is turning red or negative, not profitable anymore. Yellow again. And look at that, then it turns red. Now you lose $200. So if you were to have ignored that profit-taking signal, you could have taken a winning trade and turned it into a losing trade if you allowed your emotions to get a hold of you. So that's why we love to automate this process. I'm going to show you how to do that in just a moment. Let's look at a couple other trades, and I'm going to show you a Dragonfly. Here's another Condor. This is from earlier this year. And you can see here the trade is almost profitable here, turning RTI's green, so nothing to do. Now it turns yellow, elevated risk, but still do nothing. A lot of times a trade will turn yellow, and that's okay. Let me scroll this down. There we go, now you can see. Oops. Trying to show you everything. And there we go, now it turns red. And there you go, you're out of the trade, too much risk on that day, and you take a loss and you move on. So that's how the risk controls work on a losing trade. But here's one thing I want to show you. This is a Condor from January 2. And I want to show you the Dragonfly. So here's a January to same day, instead of a Condor, let's assume you placed a Dragonfly. What would have happened? Let's take a look. So the trade is profitable now. Everything's green on the RTI. Now it turns yellow, elevated risk, but do nothing. And look at that. It turns blue and it gives you a full day to take profits on that position. And how is that possible? That's on February 21st. And if you look at February 21st on the Condor, the trade was actually still negative. It wasn't even profitable yet. Well, remember, you on this day here, let's go back a couple days. So you can see on the February 21st, the market's moving higher and higher, getting closer to these short calls that you sold. But remember, you own this call option here that's closer to the money by 40 points in this case. The 34.30 call is 40 points closer than the 34.70 call. So that call option is actually gaining in value much more rapidly than these out of the money calls. And therefore, it gives you an opportunity to close out that position for a profit. So this is what it looks like on the dashboard if you're placing a Dragonfly trade. So you would simply click on the Dragonfly. Let's look at this August end of month trade for today. This is today's Theta trade. Here's what it looks like on the graph. And you can see the numbers are a little different. Pricing here is 10 points. You receive 10 points. Your cash required is about $4,600. And the profit potential is about a little over 400. Targeted return on cash, a little over 9%. Targeted annualized return, about 48%. So these numbers are typically a little bit lower than a Condor because you are actually paying money for this call option and this put option. That's your bit more of insurance, a bit more of a hedge, and that cost money. But at the same time, it gives you some opportunities to perhaps be a little more, let's say this trade can sometimes be a little more risk averse in certain conditions like we just saw. But once again, everything's pre-built, everything's pre-filled out according to the algo, and you would sell, let's say you wanted to sell 2 of these. And remember, once again, the put and the call that you're selling, look at the deltas on those, the higher probability outcomes on those in terms of selling them. And you leave the pricing there at 10, and you go ahead and place that order. And there it is, your order's placed. So let's look at another example. Here's a Condor from November 20. Turns yellow, losing a little money. And then it turns red on January 16. So that's a losing trade. Now let's look at a Dragonfly. Same day, November 20. If you did a Condor and you did a Dragonfly in that same day, let's take a look. Look at that. It actually turns profitable on January 3rd. Take your profits and run. And look here, January 3rd, the trade was still negative on the Condor, still losing a little money. And once again, that's because in this case, this call option here is so much closer to the money compared to the ones that you sold. Let's see, 40 points different. It's not always 40 points. It just depends on what the algo chooses. It can be sometimes, we've seen 50, we've seen 30, but that's the magic of Theta Trader and how easily it works. Now let me show you how to do this here under my account. You go to settings and here, activate risk manager. You just check that button activate profit directive, and you check that, and then you save the settings, and that's all you have to do. And you can automate the exit for any of those trades. So if it hits a blue or a red, whichever is first, you are automatically taken care of in terms of that order being placed. Now let's take a look here at a couple other things I want to show you. We have a great help file. There's a tutorial here within the glossary. You can look at all the color coding for the RTI. Look at all the parameters for that. There's descriptions of the strategies. There are videos here on using Theta Trader, but you see how easy it is. You probably don't even need it. And education on options and spreads if you need more of a review on that. There's also research. We do our daily TradeScope newsletter, technical analysis. That's our proprietary in-house research. And we also have another research document here, our daily trading summary. It's a narrative of what happened in Asia and in Europe and in the US. And that's available also within the platform. And let's point out a couple other things real quick. You're thinking, okay, that's great if I place a trade, but how do I track it and follow it? Well, first of all, you can see right on the dashboard all the activity and all the trades, but you can go to your open positions or closed positions. So let's see open first. And then give me 1 minute and we're going to show you the best feature of all. So you want to make sure to see this. So these are all the closed positions here in this demo account. And this is, let's say you want to see, I don't know, here's one. This blue bought a put spread. And you just scroll down and then you can see right here, day by day, all the history from June 10 forward on that spread. Now, if you want to look at your closed positions, you can see here there are 20 on the page, 16 winners, 4 losers, total P&L. Out of all that 20, 15 were short option spreads like we just saw, like a Condor or a Dragonfly, and 5 of those were bought. And if you want to look at details of any closed position, you certainly can. Here's a losing Dragonfly. There, you can see how that one ended up losing money because the market rally just got too close and the algorithm decided to pull the plug and close out that trade. It didn't have a chance to reach profitability yet. So there's a good example of a losing trade. And then, here's an example of like a winning trade, for example. Let's see, when was this? Yeah, this was back in April. April 30 is when this one was placed. And you can see it gave the profit taking signal here earlier this month. So that's how you see your open and your closed positions. This is how you get to the trade simulator right here. And you can start from there and you can look back at, choose any date you want, use the calendar and go back anywhere you want, choose bullish, bearish strategies, neutral strategies, something called Trade Builder, but we won't really go through that right now. But essentially you can build any trade you want from scratch, but really people use the algorithm. And with that said, let me show you the best feature of all. All right, do we feel like Lucy and Ethel? Hard to keep up? I don't think so. I think it probably all makes sense to you out there. And here's the best thing of all: we can make it easier. 1 minute trading with TradeAlerts. You're thinking, okay, everyone's got a trade alert. Well, not like this. This is one touch trading. So all you do is you receive an alert on your smart device. If you like the trade, you touch green. If you don't like it, you touch red. Just that easy, because why? These alerts are live, meaning they're integrated with your trading account. So you have your trading account, you're using Theta Trader, you have your account with us, you get an alert, you like it, and you touch accept, and that's all you have to do. You don't have to log into some other third-party platform. You don't have to try to copy an alert. I get people calling in saying all the time they've just messed up an alert. They just put a buy and a sell. They chose the wrong strikes. Whatever it is, or they didn't see it, because of something else. And then, of course, you see how the RTI can automatically track that. Here's what it looks like. You get a text, you touch the link, brief description. That's a Condor, get the graph. You can see the net premium, the cash required, see the quantity, sell 10. It's already pre-sized for your account because it's all integrated with your account. The size of the quantity is already correct. Days till expiration, targeted annualized return, current price quote. And if you like it, you just touch accept. That's it. We can look at that one more time. Okay, so there you go. Here, it's time. We're going to show you what kind of value we put together. We have an offer for you, everything you need. If you're ready to take action, we're going to show you how to be part of our elite trading team. Here's our VIP membership. We just started this a month or so ago, and putting essentially AV Systems and Theta Trader together under one package. So that's why there's been so much information to get over across to you, but I think it's been worth it. So remember, AV Systems, automated futures trading, 20 years of development, professional systems developers and programmers, thousands of system bots. I think there's 1,700. US global markets, multiple sectors. There's that light switch. You flip it off and on. Everything's transparent, automation. You can use intraday or swing systems. You can review all that live performance. You can even download that history, global stock indices, currencies, financials, metals, energies, you name it, grains. So how about building one system for yourself, one algo system? Ask us how much it costs. Well, we know, and it's expensive. Just one system alone, one algo for one market, you're talking over $10,000. But remember, you're looking at over 1,700 systems on the platform. And also we have something called the A-list. These are the top picks from us. What we do is we can work with you and run through systems that meet your criteria and show you how to allocate. And that value there for that service, $2,952. So the VIP membership includes AV Systems, which includes our A-list strategies, over $13,000 value. And then remember too, you have Theta Trader, which is our algo-driven options trading solution. You saw how easily that worked with the Theta Trades. The proprietary algo pre-builds the spreads for you, simple and effective trade tracking. Look how easy that is compared to this. I've been doing this almost 30 years and they're still using the software. Can you tell me what's happening there? I can't, and no one else can. So that's why you need Theta Trader. Then you have the RTI to automatically exit your trades. So everything is on autopilot, non-emotional. So there you go. You check that box and that one, and that's it. And then the trade simulator, we used a few simulations. You saw how great that was. So you have the Theta Trades, the RTI, and the trade simulator. Value of over $3,588 for that software. And remember the TradeAlerts. How great is this? One touch, and these alerts are tailored to you, and they're live and integrated. All you do is touch accept, and then the RTI can manage it for you. Theta Trader does the heavy lifting for you. $4,400 and $6,400 for those alerts. I know people are spending a fortune on alerts. So there you have it. Theta Trader software and the TradeAlerts, the value of over $8,000. So remember, with the VIP membership, here's to summarize what you get. You get the AV System software, Theta Trader software that includes the TradeAlerts, value of over $21,000. Here's the best part. How do you tie it all together? With us, you have a private coach, someone who's been trading and doing this for decades, someone to work alongside you. And you can do 1-hour screen sharing sessions with this person. Some of the topics you might want to cover, you can see there with systems or Theta Trader. You can look at how to select a system, how to deselect, how to deactivate, how to diversify among systems, and then looking at Theta Trader, of course, Theta Trade selections and the TradeAlerts, advanced strategies. There's other strategies too. I just didn't have time because there are bearish and bullish strategies as well, not just the non-directional. So you have someone to work with you as a co-pilot. You develop a relationship with that person, review all your history, develop new strategies, a value of over $7,500. And keep in mind, a lot of online educators are offering stuff for $5,000, $10,000, $25,000 to train you to do this, that, or the other. But we just include that with everything. So that's all included with your VIP membership. So remember, AV System software, Theta Trader software, the TradeAlerts, your trading coach, over $29,000 value. And then remember too, we have the proprietary research with TradeScope and the commentary. And that research there valued over almost $3,000. And of course, we throw in those online tutorials. So you have the system software, Theta Trader, the TradeAlerts, the coach, the research, $32,000 value for the VIP membership. That's the real deal, folks. There's a lot of value there, but even at 50% off, we can do, you would think, okay, that's a great deal because I get situated, I get started, I have a coach, I have all the tools I need. Well, we can do even better than that. We can save you a lot of money. Keep in mind, you can no longer have to pay advisory fees or subscriptions or data fees. Someone was telling me, you mean I don't have to pay for data? I don't have to pay for a newsletter. I don't have to pay for alerts. That's correct. I don't have to pay for more education. And of course, saving time. We can save you a lot of time and aggravation. And we know we can because our clients tell us. So it's the one thing for you, the VIP. It's for you. And it'll work, save you hours, save you time, save you money, cancel subscriptions. Absolutely. And I know I talked to people over the years, even years ago, I was talking to people that spent $25,000 on systems. And you don't need to do that with us. Our VIP offer for you, AV Systems and Theta Trader together. It's a live webinar. We want to get you motivated if you like this. And we've sold this before at a value of $1,997. In fact, just Theta Trader alone, we've actually been able, years ago, people were paying more for just Theta Trader alone. But we can do better than that. We can give you a big discount before Sunday night, 60% off of that VIP membership. And you're working with real people. This is not a chat bot. One-time payment, lifetime member, $797. That's it. And there's the link, cf.altivest.com/VIP. There's our phone, 949-346-1373. Let me reiterate, that's one payment. It's not annual, quarterly, lifetime member, and there's a 30-day guarantee. So really, you have no excuse if you want to try it out and for some reason something changes or just not working for you, let us know and we'll just refund that membership fee. And that's all there is to it. And remember, it's a one-time payment and it's a one-on-one boutique style of service. We're not the big box brokerage firms that have hundreds of thousands of people coming in with $1,000 accounts. That's not our business. Now, FAQs. Can I trade stock options? No. We specialize in options on the E-mini stock index futures, like the S&P, NASDAQ, and Russell. And how do you know what spreads to sell? Sometimes people ask, well, you just want to ladder, what they call ladder your strikes. So here's a set of calls and puts that you sold on a Dragonfly or a Condor. And as time goes by, you sell a different set represented by green. As more time goes by and the market moves, you sell a different set represented by the blue. You just don't want all the strikes all at the same level. Are they tax efficient? Yes, if you didn't know it, trading with us is tax efficient. So if you're trading stocks, you make 20% on 100 grand and you're in the highest tax bracket, you're going to pay $7,400 in tax or a 12.6% return. But if you trade with us and you're trading futures and futures options, you would only pay $5,360 in tax, 14.64% return, over a $2,000 savings, a difference, just because you're trading within a tax-efficient instrument. And there's no more itemizing when you're doing futures and futures options. And IRAs, yes, I guess that's redundant, right? IRA account. So an IRA, you can combat volatility, invest in alternative assets with a self-directed IRA. Yes, you can. There are benefits to doing that with alternative assets. Diversify a portfolio by adding investments with a low correlation to stocks and bonds, control volatility, and limit downside risk in portfolios. And it says here, trading futures contracts within a self-directed IRA could be an excellent way to diversify your retirement savings with an alternative asset class. Absolutely. A lot of people are interested in using their IRA. And then here's how you would do it. First of all, determine if you want to use an IRA. Then you'd have to become an AltaVest VIP. There's the link. Then you'd access our electronic account applications. Then you'd open your IRA at an approved fiduciary. Then you just transfer your IRA funds and then begin trading. But we help you with that whole process, and it happens all the time. People do it all the time with us. Why trade ES options? Well, they offer superior execution and a savings of $4 to $15 per contract. Tight spreads is what we're after. Now look at this. This is kind of mind-blowing. Here's the futures market versus ETF market. Average daily volume in dollar volume. So here's the E-mini S&P versus the SPY. Average daily volume, 192 billion versus 19.6 billion. So almost 10 times greater in the E-mini S&P 500. And look at the E-mini S&P compared to ETFs globally. Every ETF around the world, over 6,000, it's still over 2.5 times bigger. So you're in the right market here. If you didn't know it before you came, you know it now. So here you go. You want to trade ES options, deep liquidity. We're not going to go through all the numbers, but this is interesting. S&P 500 options, look at that. The green line, 94% of them are the E-mini. The E-mini, that's the market we trade. Largest market share, densely packed strikes, 100 annual expirations. You get all that granularity and coverage. So when you're trying to, and Theta Traders looking to build a spread with 6 different legs or 4 different legs, it's going to have strike prices available, because in other markets, you just can't do that. You can track 1 or 2 markets, just not thousands of ETFs. Margin is efficient, and there's a clear cost structure. It's not opaque. So those are the advantages. So what about the hidden cost? Well, let me show you that here. We're going to talk about that. Remember, there are no hidden costs with the markets we trade. These are not securities options. Everything trades at the CME group. There's no payment for order flow. One electronic exchange called Globex for all orders, large or small. Every order is treated equally. But there are hidden costs when you're trading stocks and stock options. Look at this. Robinhood making millions selling out millennial customers to high-frequency traders. Millions of dollars in cash income by selling customer orders to the high-frequency trading meat grinder. High-frequency traders are not charities. The only reason high-frequency traders would pay Robinhood tens to hundreds of millions of dollars is that they can exploit the retail customers. So look at this, high-frequency trading scandal. The plot thickens. It's from a year or two ago, but it says Robinhood truly does appear to be taking from the millennial and giving to others. Look at this. New filing shows they brought in close to 100 million by offloading their order flow in the first quarter. So that's how they're making money, folks. They say they're commission free, but you're paying not just Robinhood, but any brokerage firm that says they offer free trading. Let me give you an example here. Look at that, payment for order flow. And what does that mean, payment for order flow? Well, when you submit an order with these brokerages, whether these online brokerages or Robinhood or whatever, they don't fill your order. Another entity fills the order for them. It all happens, very, very quickly. but you don't know who's filling your order and you don't know what the spread is. And who's doing it? Well, groups like Citadel, third-party market makers. Look at that, 43% of the Robinhood payment for order flow. G1X, Wolverine Securities, those are the big ones here. And why are they doing that? Why are they paying these brokerage firms so they can execute their order? Well, it's because they make money. They make the spread. They make the spread on those orders that they fill. That's why. So remember, there's no free lunch. Schwab and others are purveyors. They're casinos, it says. Retail stock brokerages are not charities. They make up lost commission revenue in other ways, usually buried way down in the guts of their workflow process where few people notice. So my point is, if you want to trade stocks, everyone does. I do too, whatever. But just remember, it's not free. And there's an edge that you're giving up. And with us, when you're trading futures and futures options, everything is clear and transparent. There's nothing hidden. We're not in that universe. So what is Theta Trader's performance? Well, Theta Trader is for clients making their own trading decisions. Everyone's different. And remember too, everything is net of all trading cost, all the performance in Theta Trader. And that leads us to ask what our commissions, our rates are competitive. The E-mini rate is 5.25. That's round turn and that's all in. Now remember, let's clarify, round turn all in. So if you go online, you'll see other companies, they'll say 2.25 per side. And remember, you need to look at futures options. Futures options. Don't make the mistake of conflating what's on their homepage because they'll have futures options prices probably buried somewhere else. And then you have to read the little star and read the fine print, and they add more fees on top. So the total can end up being higher than what we charge. So our rates are competitive, and we're not even competing with them anyway. We offer something that they don't, as we just saw. And what about the VIP membership? How much money should I start trading with? Well, we suggest 50 to 100,000 split between AV Systems and Theta Trader. It's not really set up to trade with, a $5,000 or a $10,000 account. And what about a free membership? We talked about that. Yes, we have people do this all the time. $100,000 in your account or more, we'll gladly refund that membership fee. And of course, there are IRAs, there's individual, joint, corporate, LLC, trust, you name it. All the account types are available. cf.altivest.com/VIP. And remember, why are we even talking about this? Well, alternatives may improve diversification and lower portfolio risk. They have a low correlation to traditional investments and can potentially reduce overall portfolio volatility, improve the risk and return profile of a portfolio, and may help grow an investor's total return. Here's a couple comments, not to, be a purveyor of doom and gloom, but here it says here, the cooped up millennial stock traders sparked a new pandemic, and it won't end well, according to an economist. But of course, economists, they're not necessarily great traders either. Here's Leon Cooperman, who actually met a few years ago, and he was very, very congenial, and he's just a real genuine guy. But he's famous. He's a stock picker, and he was one of the best, and he just retired from Omega. He had outsized returns consistently for year after year after year. But he says this recent stock market, I guess you could say, rally is going to end in tears for a lot of these people piling into the market. And Jeremy Grantham, he's been right about a few big things in his career managing money, but he's also been negative on the stock market for a while, and it's been making new highs. But nonetheless, something to keep in mind. And Jim Cramer says, don't even listen to the money managers. He says they're scaring people out of the market. So with all that going on, I think this is a fair assessment. You need to have at least a 10-year time horizon if you're going to be owning stocks, unless you want to try to day trade, of course. But we see that that's not an easy game. And I like this cartoon. I'm long delusions, wishful thinking, and fear of missing out. So remember, we like what we're doing. It has a low correlation to traditional assets. It's an absolute return vehicle. So you shouldn't be in all stocks. The 60-40 portfolio, I think, is kind of dead. We like alternatives. We like to be a piece of that alternative pie. So that's the VIP membership, automated systems and automated options trading. So we hope you'd like to join us if you think it's a good fit. There's a link to do so, or if, of course, you do nothing, but that wouldn't be fun. Anyway, there you go. There's the AV Systems, Theta Trader, personal coaching. We'd like to be part of our winning team if you're long-term serious about your success. And there is the link. I'll leave that there, and I'm going to see if I can jump in. There's a lot of comments and questions. I think I got through some of them already. Okay. Someone wants to know what's the performance. Well, everyone's performance is different, of course. And let's see here. Someone said they didn't have sound or screen, but I know it was working. It must have been just something on there. And yes, you will have a recording. And there's no such thing as being approved or not approved for day trading. Any account that's opened can either day trade or trade longer term. It doesn't matter. And if you want to know which indices did best, you can just simply filter for a market on the AV Systems platform. Swing trading, every system's a little different, but I would say some of the swing systems get in and out on the same day, but some of them try to stay in for weeks at a time. And let's see here. Yeah, all the AV Systems performance, everything is based on just one lot or one unit, meaning one contract. And the DAX is a market, it's the German stock market index, so you can trade that in AV Systems with any one of the systems that trade the DAX. And yeah, crude oil as well. And let's take a look here. Sure, you could filter for the bottom 10 performers, absolutely. And the algorithm within Theta Trader takes into a lot of different variables, but it is proprietary. But certainly we're looking at a lot of the Greeks, looking at proximity, time, some of those common things. And we always get out of a trade before it expires. So someone was asking about their at 0 days to expiration or in the last hour. Theta Trader will always close out the position prior to expiration, whether it's for a win or a loss. And we mostly, with Condors and Dragonflies, we're mostly going to just suggest closing out the trade if it's a loser rather than doing a roll or a repair strategy, although at times we have done that. The problem with a roll is you end up rolling, 10 times and you get stuck in a trade for too long. And then let's see here. If you want to look at the track record, I'd recommend the simulator. And the Dragonfly, it's hedged a little bit more than a Condor. So yes, it's fair to say that I think it's a little more robust of a strategy, and we like it a lot. If a Condor is in trouble, then a Dragonfly may not be. And the Dragonfly is a terminology that we created, not anyone else. And in terms of how much to trade with, like I said, anywhere from 50 to 100,000. Why not SPX? Well, we talked about that. There's multiple advantages in trading in the ES. One loss could be a big loss. Yeah, it could be. Absolutely. You just never know. But if you do it long enough, kind of like the law of large numbers, if you're doing non-directional strategies. And if you want to know, there's no real win ratio per se, because we're not managing money, but everyone's different and everyone's going to get into trades differently and at different times. Best way to do that would be to look at the simulator. And let's see, Theta Trader and AV Systems only works with, with us, with Altivest. You're not able to use these platforms with another brokerage. And once you become an AV Systems, a Altivest VIP member, you pay one time $7.97. That's the discount, expires Sunday, and that's it. You don't have to pay any more membership fees. That's correct. There are lots of systems where with suggested capital of say 5, 10, 20,000. So they're very approachable. And yes, you do get a 1099 at the end of the year. And yes, the webinar is recorded. We talked about minimum investments. And yeah, once you sign up and become a member, a VIP member, and you're using AV systems, yeah, you would still need to buy a license for any system that you want to trade. That goes to the developer of the system. That's how the developer gets paid, not us. Yes, you can do all this without using Thinkorswim or TradeStation or any other brokerage firm. That's correct. We are the brokerage firm. Yes, that's right. Order flow, we don't do any of that nonsense. So there's no payment for order flow or anything. As someone mentioned, Anton Krail. Yeah, I know who that is. He's that English chap. Someone mentioned they couldn't hear. Sorry about that. And yep, the link, you see cf.altivest.com/VIP. And let's see, that's just a one-time fee and there's no payment plan. It's just a one-time charge. Sure, you don't have to have 100,000. You could trade with a bit less, that's fine. And I think that's it. That's lifetime, by the way. $797 is a lifetime membership. And I think that's, no, we can't do accounts of like, 1,000 or 5,000. We just aren't able to accept the strategies and the systems we're using. Just do not accommodate that. And in terms of the slippage on the Dragonflies or the Condors and four-legged spreads, yeah, we're doing the six-legged spreads, and they trade as what they call an object. So it's not as if each option is being filled individually. So that's the benefit of also trading with Globex. And you're trading just as one object at one price as one unit. So you don't end up with a whole bunch of slippage. And yes, we are the brokerage firm. And we talked about that, 5 1/4. And the minimum starting, yep, we talked about that. So yeah, I think a lot of similar questions, but minimum account size 25,000. You could open an account with 25,000. You would just be limited. And I think that's good. There's a lot of great questions, guys. So thanks again. And you can also reach me at Erik, E-R-I-K, at altivest.com. I should have put that in there. But nonetheless, can't think of everything. I know we've been on this for a while, so thanks for sticking with me. Like I said, we had a lot to go through, but I think it was worthwhile. Hopefully you felt that. So with that said, we're going to sign off for now, but remember that link is right there, cf.altivest.com/VIP. There's our phone number. You can always call us there. And or you can call me directly, 949-236-6961. And you can also email Erik, E-R-I-K, at altavest.com. Love to hear your thoughts and feedback. Really anything helps, even if it's critical, that's fine too. We like to try to improve every time we do this. But thanks for joining us, and we'll let you get going for the rest of your day. And let's see here. Oh, a couple other questions. Systems integrates with trade systems in Europe. Well, all the systems on the AV Systems platform, you can see that the market's available there. Some are the DAX. So yeah, they're trading on these European stock indices. So some of those as well. In terms of tax efficiency, someone says, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thanks, guys. Yeah, appreciate that. I wouldn't know how that would work in terms of tax efficiency being applicable to investors in EU countries. And that's another problem though too. We're unfortunately not able to accept a lot of accounts from various countries in the EU and Canada as well. Has nothing to do with our brokerage firm. I'd love to, but all these countries have their regulations and it's not something we can get around of. So if you did have a question about that, let us know, or you can go visit that link there, and we have I think a comment about that on the link. All right, Thank you very much, everyone, and I hope to hear from a lot of you. If you think this is something you'd like to pursue, we can help you out with it. We've got a great base of clients and some great technology to help us along the way here, something unique and proprietary and very different from what you're seeing on your typical business channel. So with that said, we'd like to see if you want to join the crowd, be unique, be different, kind of, what was it, think different? Wasn't that the Apple motto a few years back? Anyway, we'll let you go. Thanks. We'll sign off now. Bye-bye.